Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 bot AI cast. We have got ourselves what should be a good one here today. We're on Equilibrium, the AI edition, and we have got a friendly bot already starting out. Zoe saying, "Hi Caninana, I'm Zoe. So may as well just let Zoe do the introductions. Yes, we have got two of the top Zerg bots going at it. I know that some people have feelings on mirror matchups. However, when it comes to bot versus bot, it's not too significant, and it really gives us good contrast on the different approaches bot authors take to programming a bot. And yeah, these two are very good bots, and the most represented race as far as the top bots is definitely Zerg. So it makes sense that we get some good ZVZs. Now, yeah, I'm ready to get into this one. I've got my second cup of coffee for the day, casting my second game of the day. So if you guys can go ahead and click that like button as you always do. Let's go for 4 likes on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Join the Discord, which is linked down below. And consider becoming a YouTube member if you do want to support these casts. I'm going to try and build a nice video bank going forward, as I'm going to be going away for some work training next month. So that means that I'll unfortunately not have my setup, so I don't think I'll be doing too much commentating. Yeah, so I'll be getting the channel ready for that. Now we've got Zoe saying I should probably make units right now. Apparently a spine crawler counts as a unit. However, it does also have a couple of lings on the way, and everything is looking pretty passive for now. The double spines is interesting for Zoe, as Caninana is known as a bot that goes for the spine crawlers too. Just very standard builds for both these bots, though, as Caninana went for its earlier pool, as it tends to do. Zoe is getting up that ling speed. It is famous for ling run-bys, and I really do like the spine crawlers to help defend against that. However, Caninana may be the bot that does better with the spine crawlers, and it actually fires up 2 at the front. So apparently, in the ZVZ bot versus bot meta, the meta is to make a lot of spine crawlers. So that's cool to see, and it almost makes me think of the SC2 or the Starcraft Evo mod, the Brood War versus Starcraft 2 mod, as the Brood War Zergs don't really have a choice but to build a lot of spine crawlers or sunken colonies, since they can't make banelings. So it's definitely a little reminiscent of that. Now we've got lots of lings on the way for Zoe. Caninana is firing up a Roach Warren. But yeah, Zoe looks like it is going to be trying to put on the pressure a little bit early here. 26 lings against 13. However, there's the 2 spine crawlers for Caninana. So I think micro is going to be very important in this coming engagement. Of course, ling speed will help out Zoe. Is it going to pick off these spines right away? No, we see it just back on out of there. So the spines do their job. Zoe does some quick maths. They're saying, I don't think I can take that fight. And it probably couldn't have, I think it's safe to say. All those lings and the spines, I think Zoe made the right calls. Sometimes these bots are notorious for retreating too early, but I think that was the right call for Zoe. Both bots are on 24 workers, making lots of units. I am concerned, though, for Zoe, as Caninana is a bot that is now making roaches, and we've seen how much better roaches are with the bot micro against lings. So I'm wondering if we'll see Zoe make that, or if it's just going to die on this ling hill. You'll have to forgive me for a second as I turn up the music a little bit, as I turned it down the other day, and now I'm like, I can barely hear this music. So we'll see. We do see Zoe planning on going for another attack. However, I get the feeling it's going to be a little bit of deja vu as it comes on in here. Will it retreat upon seeing Caninana's army? It is committed. It's going for broke. Some lings have wrapped around the spine, but then it does get on out of there, just for a lot of losses for Zoe. Well, I mean, 16 lings but definitely less losses for Caninana. Third base is on the way for Zoe, so it is leading in that. Caninana is getting up a layer, so potential for roach speed, tunneling claws. Finally, Zoe does fire up its own roach warren, so it's not just gonna fully commit to only Lings, which is very important. Caninana is now sending out a couple of Lings as well, which is interesting to see if they're just to defend the space or not, as there is now a third on the way for both of these bots. Similar timing, similar drone count. Nothing too crazy is going on here. Yeah, we've got a nice passive macro ZVZ. Caninana's already got burrow. Zoe's getting up its own burrow. Evo chamber now on the way as well for Zoe. The fact that Zoe is going into roaches makes me happy because we have seen Zoe games in the past in which it did just commit to the Lings and died, as the Ling run-bys can be decent. However, the Lings versus roaches head-on, not so much. Zoe is potentially planning on going for another Ling run-by or attack here. We'll see if there's going to be any success. We'll see the Lings of Caninana, though. And just need to get on out of there. Looks like a few Lings do try and make it in. They're going to run into the main base, testing my observing skills. As, yeah, they're just going to run all over the place. Caninana's Lings are on it, though, and they will shut that down. We've also got an Overlord about to die for Zoe. So Zoe down on supply a little bit. It will be behind, as it has not made any roaches just yet. It's finally making some, but Caninana's been making roaches all game pretty much, so it will have a significant supply lead. Overlords are going all over the map for both of these Zergs. Caninana seems to have more out on the map. That could be problematic for those Overlords if there's ever Hydras or Mutas or Corruptors out in this game. And 1-1 now being researched for Zoe, so it is getting an upgrade lead on the way, which is important. Macros going for both these bots. We do have a 4th and a 5th on the way for Zoe. Caninana just getting up a 4th base. Lings are now starting to burrow at expansions, as both bots try and block each other's bases, so we'll see how well they can deal with that if there's any Overseers on the way, and there is Overseers out for both these bots, so I imagine expanding shouldn't be too problematic for either of these. Zoe all of a sudden is just firing out a boatload of drones, saying drones, drones, drones. Caninana is also saying drones, drones, but maybe one less drones in there, as Zoe is going a bit harder on the workers, getting more bases up. And Caninana, yeah, gonna be going up against Zoe, which does seem to be running away with it in the macro sense. Now getting up a lurker den, getting up grooved spines, leading in the upgrades. For now, anyway. No +2 started yet for Zoe. However, it does have that gold base up, and it is saturating that as well very quickly. That's going to give a nice boost to the economy of Zoe, being ahead on workers, ahead on bases. And it's important to keep in mind, with the speed mining on both of these bots, you can add like 5%. It's between like 5 and 10% of the workers, so these bots are on very strong economies. Okay, Caninana saying tag Corruptor, so I guess it wants to get those out at some point, firing up a Spire and Infestation Pit. Caninana is the fungal king, so we'll see if it's able to get those out later on. We are seeing Corrosive Bile start to go down, as Zoe has invested in some Ravagers. It's like Caninana's starting to move out, though it is maxed out, so it does make, or it's just about maxed out, so it does make sense that it is going to turn on the aggression. Lots more Spine Crawlers are going up. Tech is all over the place. It's getting hard to keep tabs on this production tab. I'm a little worried for Zoe, seeing as how it is investing in more tech, that it's got less units in the present. That gap is going to close in like the next 60 seconds or so, though, as both bots will hit max out. Zoe looking for a bit of a run by, not sure how much success it's going to find, as Caninana is on it. That does pull Caninana completely back, though. Ling's now running towards the 4th base, but will get repulsed. Caninana getting up its own gold base, the 5th. And now Zoe is going to be looking to put the pressure on it. It's adding in some lurkers into its composition. The Lings aren't going to do too much. It's mainly going to be about the roaches and ravagers, and I think there's actually a massive roach lead for Caninana, as it's 50 roaches just about to 11. Yes, there's some ravagers and lurkers in there, but the overall army is looking much more beefy just number-wise for Caninana. So Zoe is going to have to get on out of there, take some losses in the process. It does have its first lurkers being made. Where are those ending up? I'm trying to click on them. Okay, they're kind of just wandering all over the place. Lings are attempting to run by when this is going on. Broodlord tag for Caninana. And these bot versus bot games really do test my observing, as these bots will just run by, attack, fight all the time, get all the tech, expand without missing a beat. That is the impressive thing. Yes, bots do have some logic issues. No, man, we are seeing that right now. Get it, drone. Get it. Kill that Ling. Kill it. Earn the expansion, and the drone does do that. So that is one of the cool things that Zerg bot authors can do, is that they can pop out extra overseers if they want. That is an option to help clean up those expansions. We do have lurkers getting engaged upon, taken out though due to the overseer of Caninana. So Zoe is being pushed back a little bit. There is some infestors out, a decent number of roaches. However, Zoe is invested in quite a big number of Lings, which is eating into its overall supply, meaning that it may not win these head-to-head engagements between these bots. Adaptive Talons now on the way. That will help out future lurkers for Zoe if it does make more of those. Resources lost definitely in favor for Caninana by a ginormous margin. Currently 1,200 to 9,800 loss. So Caninana has been the more efficient bot. Most of the losses for Zoe are in the Lings, that it keeps going for these, I'll say, kind of futile run-bys. I think the drones will probably just burrow too, potentially. Yeah, they do when they get injured. So the Ling run-bys are not too effective. Looks like we're seeing some constant skirmishes here, though, as Zoe moves on in once again. It will, in theory, eventually get adrenal glands, which will improve the Lings, but they're fighting roaches right now, and the roaches can just burrow. There needs to be an overseer with these Lings if they're going to try and pull this off. Looks like the Lings, yeah, they do go in, but then they got to get on out of there. I'm curious if Zoe will ever give up the run-bys in this match or not. It's being pushed back by Caninana. The lurkers are kind of the opposite of the Lings in that they can be fairly efficient. Great overseer usage by Caninana, though, just basically assigning an overseer to the lurker. So they're not going to be as effective as you may think. And Caninana's bank is looking huge. The bots are on an even number of bases. Looks like these Lings will come in. They may get this base. However, it's not going to be free for Zoe. It's going to lose a crap ton of Zerglings. I feel I'm not supposed to swear on this channel, guys, but crap ton is the nice way to put it, as 365 Lings have died already. Zoe has no regard for Ling life. It is a true Zerg AI, just not caring about its units. And now we see Lings trying to engage once more, eating corrosive biles, going down en masse. There is more and more run-bys being queued on up. Zoe is just super suicidal with its units. Caninana has a ton of overseers out on the map as well, so it's not really getting surprised by these lurkers, and Zoe is just bleeding money. Yes, it's keeping Caninana busy right now, however, it did fail to kill off that base, so it really has no significant gains this match. We're now seeing a Broodlord on the way for Caninana as well. We're going to need to see some anti-air to deal with that, potentially. And yeah, still skirmishes all over the place. I mean, Overseer parked on top of that lurker. Corrosive bile it if you dare, says Caninana. And yeah, I really like how Caninana handles these lurkers, just parking an Overseer on top of them. That is so cool to see. Broodlord in the skies will chase the Lings away. The army is vastly superior for Zoe. Caninana only lost 2,500 resources to 1,700, and it goes to show, I was talking about the differences in bot design earlier. We're clearly seeing that in this match, and I'm not sure Zoe's going to pivot. At some point, it may give up on these Ling run-bys, I'm wondering, but I'm yet to see that. Okay, Caninana has got so much creep on its side of the map. Look at this forest just spread all over the place. My PC's not going to like this. 244 creep tumors. So as far as the creep is going, Caninana is winning by a mile. Evil Zoe trying to, or pardon me, just regular Zoe trying to run on in here, get some scouting off. It's not going to, or get some kills off, but so far it's only killed 5 drones despite losing 500 lings to these run-bys. So Zoe is being incredibly risky here. We are seeing a healthy lurker count. However, they unburrow. There is overseers, so roaches can collapse on top of these. Looks like the lurkers will chase the roaches off for now. And we are seeing another attempted attack by Zoe. It does seem to be making more lurkers than it had previously. Potentially starting to abandon these lings. Good fungal growth goes down as well on the army of Caninana. The hatchery does get denied. Crossabow's trying to kill the Broodlord. They narrowly miss. And yeah, nice attack by Zoe, getting a bit of work done. Still an incredibly expensive venture, though. The growing lurker count is really good to see, though, as they will do a lot better than just suiciding in lings. Caninana, though, is at least dealing with those lurkers incredibly well. Lings coming on in to kill off some drones. They will get a couple, or one, but then the drones just burrow and the lings get chased away. Caninana's reaction has been very good. Resources lost massively in favor for Caninana. Zoe is up a base. The fact that it has continued to deny this base could be a sign of hope for the Blue Zerg if it never lets Caninana take this location. That would be big for it. Lurkers come on in and they burrow. We are seeing the Overseers provide perfect vision on them, though. That's only half the battle when it comes to dealing with lurkers. You still got to kill them. That's the scary thing. They are built like tanks, even though they, yeah, so just seeing the lurkers is only half the battle. Creep tumors are getting cleaned up by Zoe, funnily enough. It's a bit of a futile effort, though. We're seeing an engagement all over the place. Lurkers are very difficult to deal with, though, as the roaches, they take a lot of damage from them, so they can get pushed back. They're afraid to engage into the spines, despite them being revealed. This is where the Ravagers would be handy for Caninana. Lurkers spining away. Looks like some of them will be getting cleaned on up, though, as this attack just continues on. Lings running on in once more. Take a guess at the dead ling count. I'm going to say we're at the 800 mark. 742. Okay. Caninana once again trying to secure this base. It has yet to take this southern base or this northern base, so it is going to start to run out of resources if it doesn't secure another location soon. Infestors are still being made by Zoe. It's making more hydras for more lurkers. It's still just keeping Caninana busy at massive expense. Caninana does pull back its entire army. This does create openings for Zoe to potentially kill off a base. We are seeing a bit of counter-harassment, though. The burrowed roaches are problematic. Looks like it will get cleaned on up. This could allow Zoe to focus on another attack. Caninana is getting up this base towards the north, though. That's very problematic for Zoe, as it needs to get massive efficiency, or just to mine a lot more resources than its opponent. So Zoe is moving on in. Good to see that it may get this hatchery. It will get this hatchery. Hydras en masse in the army now, too. Lings can buffer. Hydras can deal some damage. Roaches are coming back, though, and I think these Hydras are going to be gobbled up, so it's a dead hatchery for a big expense for the Zerg. Not getting too many kills. The Hydras are completely cornered as well. I think some of the slippery Lings may have made it out, but the bigger Hydras do not stand a chance. We're seeing Zoe make so many more Hydras. I'm not sure if that's a reaction to the Broodlord growing for Caninana. I imagine it is. Zoe, I don't think, makes a ton of air units ever. In fact, no Spire on deck, so that could be problematic if it does rely on Hydras to deal with the Broodlords later on. This hatchery once again being reestablished by Caninana, and resources lost-wise, it's 7,000 to 41,000 right now, and that is just ridiculous for Caninana. I think some of the best cost efficiency I've ever seen in one of these bot games. So while Caninana is down 2 bases, Zoe may still run out of money before its opponent. In fact, I think it will run out of money before its opponent. These bases are really starting to mine out for these bots. However, Zoe's got like a extra base. It's not really mining from that southern one, though, and Caninana is finally starting to put the pressure on its opponent. all of a sudden Zoe's not able to go for a counterattack. I think that's probably a result of how many Hydras it's made. It's not able to get off as many Ling run-bys now that it's swapped that supply. It's also given up on the Lurkers, which were incredibly important for it. We are going to be seeing Zoe move north once more. At least it is continuing for that attack. We've also got Caninana with roaches just being menaces all over the place. And in goes Zoe once more for a bit of an attack. Just a couple of Lings though. The main force is out on the map, and roaches are going to close on top of these Hydras. Hydras cannot fight roaches alone. They are too soft. So Caninana seems to have finally been able to secure its base towards the north. It's getting up a spine crawler here. That's important. Zoe is still attacking all over the place, just throwing money into a pit. Hydra's trying to deal with the endless creep of its opponent, but there's too much creep. So he's moving in for an attack, and Zoe really just is not getting a lot done here. It's just losing so much stuff compared to Caninana. Caninana has lost 13 roaches. The 50 or 60 roaches that it has out were the same roaches we saw at the start of the game. Zoe needs to take a better fight at some point. It is trying to take Caninana's base. If it can get that up, that would be huge, but I think it's a bit over-ambitious. We're now seeing roaches attack on in for Caninana, and all of a sudden it's like, if you're not dealing with my army, I can just kill you. Even a bot eventually realizes that. And so I think we are seeing a game in which Zoe is just gonna eventually fizzle out and die against the vastly superior trades of Caninana. I think, yeah, I think we're just seeing a design change, a big contrast in the design of these bots. I think I've even cast a game like this before. It has kept me busy enough, though, that I've barely been able to sip my coffee. Zoe does run out of resources. It lost a critical base. It's got this one location mining still. If that gets disrupted at all, its economy will plummet. It can barely make anything anymore. And at the rate that it was burning money, it's gonna be in the hole pretty darn quickly as it goes in for another Ling run by. Looks like this base is exposed for Caninana, so this is actually a successful attack for Zoe. So it's not going out without a fight, despite being incredibly broke. Still mining on this one base, re-establishing this hatchery towards the north. Zoe is not giving up just yet. However, here's the problem as it loses another 16 trillion Lings. Yeah, that is not good. More hatcheries being built for Zoe. All of a sudden, though, a minute later, it's down to 150 supply. Caninana's bank is at 14,000. I think Caninana could pretty much just stop killing units, and I think it would still win this game. It's just got so much of a bank to burn through. Caninana is barely mining itself. However, Zoe is not cost efficient enough. Ravagers Lurkers are killing off a decent number of roaches. Actually just cutting those things right up. So this base will hold for now. However, Broodlords are attacking towards the north. There's absolutely zero answer towards those. And yeah, I think we have just seen a drawn-out death. There was a bit of hope for Zoe, but it's like, it's not changing its behavior. I think it's safe to say that this one is over. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this one, hit that like button. If you watched to the end of this, if you want to see Caninana take on potentially other bots that may have a bit better late game, let me know in the comments down below. You guys are the best when it comes to leaving comments, leaving likes, supporting the channel by becoming YouTube members. And yeah, let me know what your favorite morning beverage is, or whether you're just one of those chads that skips breakfast. Yeah, that's a good thing to leave in comments down below. Just absolute suicide by Zoe. 75k loss to 12k. Of course, that's a little skewed by the fact that the game's over at this point, and all the dead hatcheries still. And then bots just doing bot things, ignoring what's in front of them. Classic bot stuff. Broodlords doing their thing, killing everything off. Zoe did refuse to build a spire all game. And Caninana is really struggling with this. It's like, oh man, I don't know if I can. Can I? The slowest kill ever. Okay. And it just goes to show how bots do lose a lot of efficiency when they're over-issued commands. I wonder if there's a valid reason for it. If the bot author wants to chime in, let me know. I'll see you guys next time, though. Thanks so much for tuning in. Oh, one more thing. How many lings died? Place your bets. I'm saying 1,442. Okay, 1,269. GG.